Melba Motions is a personal trainer whose mission is to make exercise fun, fashionable, and fabulous. Melba has created a new line of workout accessories and fitness wear. To launch her line, she decides to have a large, public outdoor launch party that includes a fashion show. To produce the event, Melba hires a party planner named Patty, who plans an extravagant affair in a great location. On the day of the event, a series of mishaps results in a disastrous launch party. The sound system fails, models neglect to show up for the fashion show. Worst of all, a major thunderstorm causes the party to end an hour after it starts. Once Melba recovers from the launch event, she decides to relaunch her line with another event. This time, Melba hires Eva of Excellent Events. After hearing the details of the first launch, Eva determines that a risk management plan was missing from the previous event. A risk management plan details how uncertainty and potentially unfavorable incidents will be handled in projects. The components of a risk management plan are methodology, which defines the approach used to identify, analyze, and respond to risks, roles and responsibilities of the people charged with planning and engaging in risk management activities, budget established for responding to each risk, timing throughout the course of the project for risk management activities. Projects can be impacted by many risks. There are various types of risks, including technical, financial, and external risks. Technical risks are technology-related risks. For example, the failure of the sound system at Melba's first event was a technical risk. Financial risks are associated with the project's funding. A common financial risk is running out of money before project objectives are met. External risks are typically factors that are beyond the control of project participants. The severe weather that affected Melba's first event was an external risk. A risk management plan is part of the overall project management plan, which details activities needed to meet project objectives. Developing a risk management plan involves the following steps. 1. Identifying the risks. 2. Analyzing risks for likelihood and impact. 3. Prioritizing risks. 4. Developing a risk response strategy. Identifying risks is the process of determining the risks that can impact a project. Eva of Excellent Events, Inc. develops a list of risks by reviewing information from the first event and by having a brainstorming session with Melba. Once risks have been identified, they must be analyzed to determine their likelihood of occurrence and the potential impact on the project. One tool often used to analyze risks is a probability impact, PI, matrix, which maps out risks based on the probability the risk will happen and the potential damage it can pose to the project. Since projects have limited resources, project managers must determine which risks should get the most attention. Prioritizing risks includes ranking them to formulate a plan to address them. Using a PI matrix, Eva concludes the critical and important risks will need the most attention. Eva will monitor mild risks, but she will not spend much energy addressing them. The final step in the risk planning process is to develop a strategy to address the high-priority risks. There are 4 categories of risk response strategies. They are avoiding, accepting, transferring, or mitigating the risk. Avoiding a risk is to eliminate the risk altogether. For example, although Melba Motions is very comfortable speaking to individuals and small groups, she gets extreme stage fright when she has to speak to crowds from a stage. Eva avoids the risk of Melba's stage fright by hiring a professional announcer to host the event on stage while Melba works the crowd on the ground. Accepting a risk is to acknowledge the risk's existence but have no actionable plan to address it. For example, there is a strong chance that Krabby the Clown will not show up to Melba's relaunch event. Eva and Melba accept this reality, but they will do nothing to respond to it. Mitigating a risk softens the impact if the risk event occurs. For example, Eva will mitigate the risk of bad weather by locating the party near an indoor venue, which she books as a backup venue if bad weather appears. Transferring risk shifts the risk to another entity, and it's usually done by purchasing insurance or by contractual provisions. At Melba's first event, models failed to show up for the fashion show. For the relaunch, Eva contracts a modeling agency. She transfers the risk of no-shows to the modeling agency by including a contractual provision that says the agency is responsible for providing alternate models if necessary. Risk planning is an essential element in managing projects. The risk management plan facilitates projects by addressing uncertainty and detrimental events that can adversely impact project objectives. The components of a risk management plan are methodology, roles and responsibilities, budgets, and timing. Risk planning includes the following steps. 1. Identifying risks, including technical, external, and financial risks. 2. Analyzing risks to determine their likelihood of occurrence and impact on project goals. 3. Prioritizing risks based on severity of impact. 4. Developing a risk response strategy to address risks, whether it's to avoid or eliminate the risk altogether, accept or acknowledge the risk's existence but having no actionable plan to address it, mitigate or softening the impact if the risk event occurs, or transfer or shifting the risk to another entity. After the risk management plan is developed, it is incorporated into the project management plan and used as the activities to complete the project are executed.